All right, let's just get right into it. If you're watching this, you're looking for a smarter way to crush the NMAT, right? So let's forget about trying to memorize entire textbooks. Today, we're going to strip this exam down to its core and give you the exact playbook for hitting that 99 plus percentile. And you know what? It really is. It's so long, it's expensive, it's confusing. It's that one thing standing between you and your dream of that white coat. And yeah, it can feel totally overwhelming. But listen, here's the good news. Just like any bad breakup, you can absolutely win it. And the secret isn't about working harder, it's about having a way better strategy. So let's get you that strategy. Now be honest, which one of these are you? Are you in stage 1, you just signed up and you're completely terrified? Or maybe stage 2, you've been studying, which, let's be real, means staring at the same page for an hour, questioning every life choice you've ever made? Or are you in stage 3? The exam is like tomorrow, and you're just looking for a miracle. Wherever you are, don't worry. You're in the right place. The whole game plan here is built around this idea called high-density learning. See, the NMAT isn't just a knowledge test. It's a test of how fast you can think while your brain is basically screaming for a nap. It's all about finding those clever shortcuts. So let's kick things off with part 1, the section that I swear most science majors just blow right past. This is a huge, huge mistake. While everyone else is trying to save their brain power for physics, you can be quietly racking up points that'll give your percentile a massive boost right from the get-go. Okay, perceptual acuity. This is basically spot the difference on steroids. Here's the pro tip, and you have to remember this. Do not look at the whole picture. Your brain is lazy. It loves to autofill details, and that's exactly how they trap you. Instead, you need to pick one tiny detail, like a single curve, a dot, or the teeth on one key, and compare only that. Next up, those crazy patterns. When you see a bunch of shapes rotating and changing color and moving all at once, please do not try to track everything. That's a recipe for disaster. Isolate one variable. Just figure out what the circle is doing first. Eliminate the wrong answers. Then worry about the square. Seriously, multitasking is a lie. It just means you're doing two things badly. And then, bam, you hit a question like this in the quantitative section. The clock is ticking away, you don't have a calculator, and you can just feel that panic starting to bubble up. You might be tempted to set up some crazy complicated fraction, but don't you dare. There's a much, much faster way. I want you to meet the product over sum hack. This little trick works for any of these two-person work problems. You just multiply their individual times together, then you divide that number by the sum of their times. That's it. 3 simple steps, and you're done in like 10 seconds. And just like that, there's your answer. 2 hours. It's clean, it's simple, and you just saved a ton of mental energy for a harder question down the line. See, this is what high-density learning is all about. Okay, so now let's take that same energy, that same hack-finding mindset, and apply it to the section that carries the most weight. We're heading into the science gauntlet, starting with biology. Now, for most of you, this is your comfort zone, but I have to warn you, the NMAT knows that. They are not going to ask you what the powerhouse of the cell is. They're going to test how you apply the concept. Let's take the central dogma, for example. You have to know where this stuff happens. Just remember it like this. Transcription happens in the nucleus. Think of it like a secure VIP lounge where the original precious blueprint is kept. Translation happens out in the ribosomes. That's the kitchen stove where you actually cook the meal. And for genetics, please, let's lock this difference in right now. Incomplete dominance is a blend. You know, like red and white paint mixing to make pink. Codominance is when both traits show up fully, like a flower with both red and white spots. The clue is right in the name. Think co-captains. They're both in charge, they both show up equally. And of course, even though they love testing you on these trickier ideas, you cannot forget the fundamentals. Your ability to quickly sketch out and read a Punnett square like this one, it's absolutely non-negotiable. It's the foundation for everything else in genetics. So let's do a quick mental test. You see this question on the exam. Your first instinct might be to freak out. But just stop. Take a breath and remember the one simple rule that solves this whole thing in about 10 seconds. That rule is Chargaff's rule. C always pairs with G, and A always pairs with T. So if C is 20%, then G has to be 20% too. That's 40% of the DNA right there. The remaining 60% has to be split evenly between A and T. which leaves you with your answer, 30%. Boom. If you can do that simple math in your head under pressure, you are already miles ahead of the competition. All right, now for the part that probably keeps you up at night, chemistry and physics. But I really want you to reframe this in your head, because so many people struggle here. Doing even just slightly better than average will make your percentile shoot through the roof. This isn't a threat. This is your single biggest opportunity on the entire exam. Let's start with a physics classic, circuits. Forget the formulas for a second and just remember this analogy. A series circuit is like a toxic friendship. If one part fails, the whole thing just goes down. A parallel circuit is a healthy relationship. All the parts are independent and can still function on their own. Honestly, a lot of the time, that conceptual understanding is all you need to get the right answer. And what about a half-life problem? Please, don't even think about that complicated formula. Just count it out. If you have a 100-gram sample with a half-life of 10 days, you just cut it in half every 10 days. So, day 10, it's 50. Day 20, it's 25. Day 30, 12.5. This simple logic applies all over chem and physics. Always look for the easy, logical pattern before you even think about reaching for a complex equation. Okay, we need to talk about your secret weapon, social science. Do not be that person who skips studying for this section. I'm telling you, this is where you pad your score. This is where you make up for any points you might have dropped back in that brutal physics gauntlet. And the best part is, the high-yield topics are so predictable. You absolutely have to know Freud's id, ego, and superego. That's your inner toddler, your inner judge, and the exhausted adult trying to keep the peace. Know Piaget's cognitive stages, and for sociology, you have to nail the difference between mores, which are really strict moral rules, and folkways, which are just casual everyday social habits. All right, let's zoom out for the final and maybe the most crucial piece of advice. The NMAT is a marathon, not a sprint. I promise you, by the time you reach part 2, you are going to be so exhausted. The test is designed that way, to see who can stay focused under that kind of pressure. Your time is your single most valuable resource. And this, right here, is the single most important thing I want you to remember. The NMAT is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most disciplined. It's about showing up, using the right strategy, and just pushing through when every part of your brain wants to quit. So, you have the roadmap now, you know the high-yield topics, you know the hacks to solve them fast. But a map is totally useless if you don't start the engine. You're doing this for that MD after your name, and for every patient you're going to help one day. So, future doctor, it's time to go study.